A very fresh morning to one and all present here. Myself Zainab Kagdi from Atmiya Green School, Jadeshwar, Bharuch. We are back with English subject for class 7th. As we have already discussed reading 1 and reading 2 of our course book of unit 4 section 1, something wonderful happens when you plant a seed. So now I hope you understand the question answers we have done till now. Now we'll begin with the grammar portion, that is finite and non-finite verbs. Correct? So take out page number 99 of your course book. Now what are finite and non-finite verbs? Correct? So verbs that agree with the subject in number and person and show tense are called finite verbs. Okay, so the verbs, okay, we know what are verbs. That is, action words are called verbs when they agree with the subject. That is, for example, it is given people ran towards higher ground with friends and family. So people ran. So your ran is a verb, correct? So ran agrees with the subject people. So when the verb agrees with the subject in number and person and show tense, people ran towards higher ground with friends and family. This example is in your page number 99. So people ran, that is a past tense. Okay, so it shows us the tense. Ran shows us, if I ask you the verb ran, it shows with tense, you will reply me. It shows past tense, run and ran, correct? So ran. So when the verb that agrees with the subject in number and person and that show tense are called finite verbs. Okay, and then what are non-finite verbs? Verbs that do not agree with the subject in number or person and don't show tense are called non-finite verbs. For example, having read about tidal waves at school, Smith acted promptly. Or we can take another example, an easy one. 10-year-old Tilly Smith felt grave danger approaching. So here approaching is a verb, correct? But this approaching does not agree with the subject, that is Tilly Smith. So this verb is a non-finite verb. Okay, now you understand the non-finite verbs are of three types. The first is gerund, second is participle, and third is infinitive. Now what is gerund? Gerund is a verb with an ing ending and it functions as a noun. For example, painting. It ends with ing but it is not a present continuous tense but it is a noun. Okay, the art of doing something. So painting. Therefore, it occupies the same position in sentence as in a noun. Okay, a gerund may be used as a subject. For example, swimming is a good exercise. Swimming. Now, ing is there. It doesn't mean it is a present continuous tense. Correct? When ing is there, we use it as a continuous. But here, swimming is an art, is a skill. So, here, swimming is a good exercise. We use it as a subject. As a direct object we can use, as a complement to the subject we can use, and we can use gerund as a complement to a verb after a preposition and after certain verbs. So this is how we can use gerunds. Now talking about participles, that is the second form of non-finite verbs. A participle is a verb with an ing, ed or en. Okay, ing, ed or en ending and it functions as an adjective. So non-finite verbs are of three types. First is gerund, which acts as a noun which ends with the ing form. Now second is participles, which ends with ing or en or ed and it functions as an adjective. Present participle and past participle. There are two types of participles now. Now present participle, we will have example. I could see rocks and stones falling from the mountain top. So here falling is a verb, correct? Falling. Now, which form does it shows you? It ends with a ing, but it is not a continuous tense, but it is a present participle. Notice that the verb in the present participle form takes an ing ending, correct? Now, past participle. Having opened the door, he came inside and switched the lights on. So, having opened the door. So, having, it ends with the ing, but having means the work is already done. That is, it shows the past tense. Now, A participle may be used as a subject, as a complement to the subject, and as a complement of the object. So by using these participles and gerund, and by using this participle, we are having one exercise here, that is on your page number 100. Correct. Fill in the blanks with present or past participle forms of the verbs given in the bracket. So here in the PDF you can see the whole paragraph is there. In it, in our textbook, there are certain fill in the blanks. We have to fill it. Okay, I dashed Jamshedpur last week. So I reached Jamshedpur last week. I dash come here to study medicine. I have come here, so have come. Okay, we'll use have come here to study medicine. Having settled down in the hostel. So having settled is another fill up. Having settled is a past participle. In the hostel, I dash out to explore the place. I dash out, and in bracket we have go. So we'll use past participle of go, that is I went out to explore the place surrounded by hillocks. So surrounded, again past participle. The town boasts of a steel plant. The town boasts, present participle, of a steel plant, one of the finest in the country. There is a lovely little park and a world class stadium. So here is a B form of present participle. So here there is a lovely little park and a world class stadium. Reaching the park was easy. So B will use, in bracket we are having B. So we'll use it, present participle of B is easy. Okay, the park, reaching the park easy. There is a small zoo. Reaching the park was easy. So here the will use past participle of be, that is was. Correct. Reaching the park was easy. There dash a small zoo close to the park. So there is a small zoo close to the park. Someone told me that there dash a beautiful lake. So there is a beautiful lake close to the town, and it is a nice place for picnics. So again here we'll use present participle, it is a nice place for picnics. Seeing how. So seeing, again it ends with the ing, and it is a, again a participle. Seeing how industry and nature intertwine, I immediately took a liking to the place. Correct? I immediately took a liking, L-I-K-I-N-G. That is present form of, that is a present participle, liking to the place. So this is our exercise number 1 of page number 100. Okay, this shows the participle present and past participle, and you have to fill the blanks with the correct form of the verb. Now we'll move up to the third kind of non-finite verb, that is infinitives. Infinitive is a verb which has the form to plus verb. Okay, so to respect, now always before verb we have to put to, that is infinitives. It can be used as a subject. For example, to respect our elders is our duty. To respect, to plus verb, to respect. It can be also used, infinitives can also be used as an object. Like children love to play outdoor games. So here children love to play, to play. Correct? To plus verb, to play outdoor games. It acts as a object of the verb. It can be also used as a direct object. They appreciate my ability to sing. So they appreciate my ability to sing. To sing. So it acts as a direct object, to sing. Correct? So to plus verb. Singing is a verb. Sing and to plus verb. So here we are having few more examples. Help me compose this tune. We let him go alone in the caves. The verbs compose and go are also infinite verbs in which the infinite form is being used without the to before it. This form of the infinitive is called bare infinitive. The infinitives in which the verbs do not accompany with to, that is to plus verb. Such kind of infinitives are called bare infinitives. Okay, now we are having one exercise regarding this activity. Question number 2 on page number 101. Fill in the sentences with appropriate forms of the verbs in the help box given below. In some cases, you will have to use the to plus infinitive form of the verb. Okay, so here in your textbook on page number 101, you have been given options. Correct? You have been given few options. 5 to 6 options are being given. That is, first is understand, improve, span, make, visit, and change. So we'll use these options to fill the blanks given us. The latest report on disaster management has helped the government dash how it needs. So it helps the government to understand how it needs to improve. So here we use to improve. That is to plus verb. The way it should spend money on giving shelter and medical care to earthquake victims. The report insists that the government officers must begin dash affected families. Now in these dash we'll use visiting. The report insists that the government officers must begin visiting affected families instead of relying on second-hand reports. Analysts believe that unless we make the government officers see and experience the impact of human tragedy that earthquake cause, things are not going to change. Correct? So here in bracket we have been given verbs, but we have to use to plus verb, that are this called infinitives. Correct? So this was your exercise on page number 101. The answers were: first understand, second to improve, third spend, fourth visiting, fifth make, and sixth to change. Now question number 3 is complete the following passage using the correct form of the verb given within brackets. So here in these exercise also you have been given few brackets and you have to use correct form of the verb. Okay, I remember dash about a terrible earthquake. So read is in the options. Reading. I remember reading about a terrible earthquake that struck the Caribbean. Now it is strike. We'll use past participle. Struck the Caribbean nation of Haiti. We having in dash measure. We'll convert it as a measuring. 7.0 on the Richter scale. On the Richter scale, it was the worst quake that hit Haiti in 2 centuries. Apart from dash, thousands of people kill. So we'll use it killing. Apart from killing thousands of people, it wreck. We'll use wrecked, past participle. It wrecked the presidential palace and other buildings. It also demolished. That is demolish. We'll use past participle again. Demolishing historical sites. A large number of people reported. Now again we'll use everywhere past participle, as we have used past participle in the beginning, so we'll continue using past participle. Reported missing. Many people were forced to spend the night outside amid fears of more aftershocks. It was difficult to estimate the extent of loss and damage. We'll use here to estimate. Dash the earthquake as a catastrophe. Describing. Okay, so describing the earthquake as a catastrophe, a government official having here. A government official said the cost of the damage could run into billions. He stated that one could only see people running. Run, we'll use it again. Running, crying, screaming. Cases of looting has also been reported. Nature has made humanity suffer yet again. So the answers for these exercise are reading, struck, measuring, killing, wrecked, demolished, reported, to spend, to estimate, describing, running, crying, screaming, looting, and suffer. So these are the answers to the exercises. Now we'll move up to the next exercise, that is spelling QU, QUA, and QUE words. Okay. So here we are having some fill in the blanks, correct? Fill in the blanks given below. You have to use the word QU, QUA, or QUE. And number A is an imaginary line on the Earth's surface that divides the Earth into a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. So now you have to fill in the blanks with the help of two lines are given. You have to identify which word it is. Okay, but it always begins with QU, QUA, or QUE. It will have, that word should have these QU or QUA or QUE. So here first is an imaginary line on the earth. As we all know, it is an equator. So a equator is the answer. B, the violent shaking of the earth is called earthquake. Number 3, a shape that has 4 equal sides and 4 equal angles. So it is square. QUA we have used. D, someone who is very curious, inquisitive. So here QUI we have used. We use QU, okay, inquisitive. Question E, something that happens very often, frequent. So QUE has been used, frequent. Number F, state of matter other than solid or gas is liquid. So we have used again here QU. Your rule is when we use the letter Q, we always add U after it. So in after every Q we have U after Q. So that is your activity QU, QUA, and QUE. Now we'll move up to the IE and EI combination. It is like very fascinating the fact about this. First we'll read out the rules. How do we use and when do we use EI or EIE? I always comes before E. Okay, so I always comes before E. So we have to always use IE. Except after C. If there is C, after C we have to use EI. For example, receive, correct? Conceive. We always do after C, when it comes we have to use EI instead of IE. In rest other, I always comes before E. And when the EI combination sounds like A, okay, we have to always use IE. But when do we have to use EI? Number one, when C comes, then after C we have to use EI. And second is when EI combination sounds like A, for example neighbor, and EI, neighbor, correct? And way also acts like EI, acts like a sound. So at that time we have to use EI. And second is when the EI-IE combination is not pronounced EE, it usually spelled EI. Okay, here we are having cross out the incorrect spellings from the list given below. So chief and chief. So here the incorrect spellings are CHEIF. Okay, this correct spelling is CHIEF. I always comes before E. Second is piece. So here again PIECE, that is piece of paper. PIE will come. So the incorrect spelling is PICE, piece. Number 3 is relief. Again RELIEF will come instead of RELEIF. Number D is weight. Again A sound is there. That is why we'll use WEIGHT instead of WIEGHT. Weight. Again we are having achieve. Achieve. ACHIEVE, achieve. Incorrect spelling is shown on the screen. Shield. The correct spelling is SHIELD, shield. And last one is nay. The correct spelling is NEIGH, nay. Correct? A sound is there. That is why we used EI instead of IE. Now we are having this one exercise. Fill in the blanks with the correct word from the brackets. My friend has a dash sense of humor. Weird. The spelling is WEIRD, weird. She laughs when people slip and fall. Number B is eggs are rich in protein. Spelling is protein, protein. Okay. Number 3 is the officer seized the stolen goods. So the answer is seized, seized, seized. D, the doctor said that one of the veins carrying blood to his heart has become very narrow. So veins, a sound is there, that is why we use ei, veins. When ei and ie sounds as a, that time we have to use ei form of combination. E is, it is the customer's right to get a receipt from the shopkeeper on the purchase of any item. So it is customer's right to get a receipt. So after C we always use ei, not ie. Question F is, it was difficult to tell where the old man was from. He spoke with a foreign accent. Foreign. So again, A sound is there. We'll use EI instead of IE. FOREIGN. Foreign accent. The last one, G. An unknown caller dashed Mr. Malhotra into revealing his bank account information and stole his money. So an unknown caller deceived. Again, after C we have to use EI combination, not IE combination. So that was our activity on page number 103. And this is all for your unit 4 and section 1. I hope you'll complete these all the exercises of your textbook with beautiful handwriting, and you'll learn the correct, and you'll use the correct form of EI and IE combination in your paper. Thank you.